Hello, Ellie here with WhoCulture. Happy Halloween! How exciting. I don't usually dress like this. Well, actually, that's a lie. I like to dress up, so maybe I do. Maybe I just wander around the house dressed in random costumes every now and then. So it is Halloween, but what that also means is that tomorrow, it's November! Woo! We've got a lot of exciting things to talk about coming up in November. Before I move on to that really quickly though, I need to say a big thank you because this is the first video that I have recorded since we passed 150,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Woohoo! And that is all down to you. Well, maybe not you, you who hasn't subscribed and is watching this, so go rectify that now. But everybody else, thank you very much for getting us to 150,000 subscribers. We're only going upwards from here, so stay tuned. We've got some exciting things coming, so thank you very much from me and the rest of the team, and watch this space for more content. So in the last few months, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of discussions about spin-offs for Doctor Who. Now obviously we've got Torchwood and Class and the Sarah Jane Adventures from previous years, but we knew that there was something on the way in some form, and last night the BBC officially announced the launching of the Whoniverse. The Whoniverse is basically Doctor Who's version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the DC Extended Universe. It's basically the banner for every piece of content that falls into the Doctor Who franchise, if you like. What I imagine will be the case is that once you go onto iPlayer, there will be a category labelled Whoniverse that you will click on, and then you will find under that banner every Doctor Who creation. That will include most of Classic Who, Modern Who, Torchwood, Class, the Sarah Jane Adventures, Doctor Who Confidential, and more things still to come. So the way I imagine it is kind of like, when you go on Disney Plus and it's got the categories at the top, you've got Disney, you've got Pixar, you've got Star Wars, you've got Marvel, all those things. I think that will be a similar case for the Whoniverse. They've also announced that with the Whoniverse, there will be a new logo and a new ident to go on all of that content, which, to me, I imagine it's going to look a bit like, when you watch any Marvel film and it comes up with the Marvel ident and it flicks through, you have sound bites from various films and various clips that form the Marvel logo. I think Star Wars have done a similar thing now, or at least Lucasfilm have. I think it's probably going to be something similar to that, which, in my head, what I'm imagining looks really cool. A similar thing to the MCU, except Doctor Who clips. How cool does that sound? And obviously we've seen the new Disney Plus ident, which we won't be seeing on these because this is going to be for the BBC, but it's exciting to think that something like Torchwood, for example, is going to have the Whoniverse ident at the beginning of it. I don't know, it makes it feel more grand, I don't know. And the exciting thing is we really don't have to wait that long, because as of tomorrow, November 1st, the Whoniverse will be launched on iPlayer. So we really have less than 24 hours, so it's not one of those things that I'm going to tell you this great exciting thing and then you've got to wait months to find out what it is that I'm actually talking about tomorrow. So when the BBC announced this launching, this is exactly what they said. Welcome to the world where you can find every Doctor, every companion, and terrifyingly hundreds of monsters that have appeared in Doctor Who. From the 1st of November, the Whoniverse will become the official name and dedicated home for all shows within the orbit of Doctor Who, which will live on BBC iPlayer. So basically, as I said, everything that falls under the banner of Doctor Who content will be in one place under that title. So the term Whoniverse is something that has actually been floating around for quite some time, and there was there were some hints and things happening that suggested that this was going to become a broader title for the franchise, if you like. Earlier this year there was a photo of Ncuti Gatwa standing at Bad Wolf Studios along kind of a mural on the wall, if you like, that said the home of the Whoniverse. So we already know that at least in the Bad Wolf Studios that is a term that they've started to use. It's literally on the wall, so they're clearly serious about this name. It's also really interesting to note that the actual term itself, Whoniverse, is something that was created by fans, and Russell T Davies even said in that press release that he wanted to use that term that was created by fans. It's a celebration of a show that wouldn't be what it is without the fans, and to make that term an official part of Doctor Who seems like a swan song to the fans, if you like. So with all this talk about the Whoniverse, we have also been informed that coming tomorrow, November the 1st, will be the first new original series in the Whoniverse franchise, if you like, and that will be in the form of Tales of the TARDIS, which will be released on BBC iPlayer, and it comes in the form of 6 episodes, which brings together classic duos to go over classic stories from Doctor Who. So I've got the episode list. So first of all, we've got The Curse of Fenric, which will be the 7th Doctor and Ace. We've also got The Time Meddler, which will be Stephen and Vicky. The Three Doctors, which is Jo Grant and Clyde Langer. Now, personally, this is the one that intrigues me the most. I think it's brilliant that we are celebrating classic Who. I think more people need to be familiar with it, myself included. But as a modern viewer, Jo Grant and Clyde Langer in particular are the characters I'm most familiar with because they both appeared in the Sarah Jane Adventures, which is very much a big part of my childhood. So this one in particular I'm very intrigued by because of the involvement of Clyde in particular and Jo as well. So we've also got Vengeance on Varos, which is the 6th Doctor and Perry, The Mind Robber, which is Jamie and Zoe, and Earthshock, which will be the 5th Doctor and Tegan. Interestingly, there's no 4th Doctor included in there. Now, there could be various reasons for that. Probably at the top of that list, Tom Baker's health, potentially. Or does that mean that the 4th Doctor is going to appear somewhere else? Can anyone else not take me seriously dressed like this? Because I've just remembered that I'm dressed like a devil. So from what we can gather from what we've seen of these episodes that will be coming, it will basically intersperse new footage filmed with these actors in amongst footage from the actual serials themselves. I'm quite intrigued as to how that's going to work. I'll admit that initially I thought, oh, this is going to be like a documentary, which while would be interesting, I was kind of like, oh, I want stories. I want adventures. Sounds to me more like this is actually going to be a story, and they're not going to be the actors discussing what they remember. It's going to be the characters. So whether it takes the form of, in my mind, the only way I can see it kind of working is if it's the aged characters reminiscing about a time in their life, which, I mean, I guess that probably would work. And they're going to be gathered in a TARDIS set, which looks amazing, by the way. I want to go on that set. That looks really fun. As long as there's enough new material in there, I think it would be great. If they rely too much on the original footage, then you're basically just showing us an episode that already exists. So as long as they get the balance right, I think this could be really interesting. The only downside to this is that it is not going to be available outside of the UK. It's an iPlayer exclusive thing. So it won't be going on Disney Plus, which I know a lot of fans will be quite disappointed about. But Russell T Davies did state kind of a reasoning behind this. He replied to a comment on Instagram addressing this, saying, "No Disney money went into this, only the BBC license fee, so it's for license fee payers." I guess that kind of makes sense in as much as if it's only the BBC that contributed towards it, then the Disney service doesn't get to reap in the benefits of that, so that kind of makes sense, but sorry, Sean, and anyone else outside of the UK. But obviously with this announcement and the fact that we know they intend to build this Whoniverse even further, comes the question of what next? What else are we going to see? This is just the beginning. So what else are we going to see? Now obviously we've discussed spin-offs and potential ideas for spin-offs quite a lot on this channel. We've obviously had the rumours of a unit spin-off has flown around before. There was also rumours about a villains kind of story at some point as well. And this also leads me on quite nicely to something else that's been floating around this week, which I've been very excited about, which was an interview that Alex Kingston did with Radio Times. And when answering fan questions, perhaps hinted towards the return of the wonderful River Song. So this is what she was asked. "Are you keeping any juicy spoilers right now?" To which she responded, "Am I keeping any juicy spoilers right now?" "Yes, I am actually. I'm keeping a juicy spoiler. Yes, that will be revealed, I would imagine, later in the year." I'm trying very hard not to get my hopes up. I don't want to get too excited, because this could very easily not mean anything. You know, people jump on this, she could be teasing, this could mean nothing, it could involve Big Finish, she does a lot of work with Big Finish. But here's the thing, I know it would be great to see River in the 60th, and if that is what we're getting, I'm very excited and very happy about it. Given the choice though, I would rather see a River Song spin-off. I've said this so many times, and I will say it again because, you know, I really believe this. It's the perfect setup for a spin-off. This could be new content with an already established character, an already established dynamic, and a whole diary of established stories. I know Big Finish have done the Diary of River Song. Doesn't mean you can't do it on screen as well. It just has so much potential, and if they don't do it, they are stupid. But again, that is not a confirmed thing, as much as I would love it to be. To summarise, the Whoniverse is expanding. We have an official banner for it. It feels very grand all of a sudden. To have the term Whoniverse makes it seem in those high realms as the MCU and the DCU, and it just makes Doctor Who feel suddenly so much grander and bigger, even though to me it's brilliant and big. It hasn't always been the case, and so it's very exciting to see it reaching these new levels. Spin-offs, gimme, gimme, gimme. I'm very intrigued to see what these 6 episodes are going to look like. And in a way, I'm hoping it's going to entice me more into classic stories. I think it's a very interesting idea to have this modern spin on the classic stories, and I hope that it brings in the younger audience to the classic era. The only other thing that I do want to draw your attention to is obviously 1st of November being tomorrow. There will be a Doctor Who exclusive SFX magazine released from tomorrow. So if you haven't already got that on your mind, make sure that you do go out and pick a copy of that up. I believe the online pre-ordering of that has already sold out. So if you do want to get your hands on it, then you need to make sure that you head out bright and early tomorrow and pick up a copy from the various stores that it's available in. And there is going to be, I believe Darren Scott has said there are 28 pages covering Doctor Who, so I think it's going to be a big event. We may very well cover some of that in a video, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled and keep checking back on the channel. There are so many discussions that we've had about all the news that's coming out, so take your pick as to what you want to keep checking out about. And in the meantime, I've been Ellie with WhoCulture, and in the words of River Song herself, who hopefully will return, goodbye, sweeties.